I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to all of you Ms. Deepti Sharma.
So today I'm going to throw some light on a very revolutionary, a very new transformative concept, which is Fintech. See, the first most important point this year what has happened is this year's budget was an extremely landmark one. Why it was extremely landmark? Because of the focus on capex creation, the focus on construction of an economy, the infrastructure, the railways, the defense, the logistics part of it. So every year the percentage of capex allocation is always lesser. Say it's 1% to 2.5%. This year it was 3.3%, which was ever highest. So with that, there is going to be a growth spurt in our economy. Secondly, do you feel the power of digitization in our country? Can you imagine 10 years before, a coconut vendor, a newspaper vendor, a flower vendor who sits under a tree, we could repay to him? Would we have imagined that? Was it possible, guys? Isn't it a massive development for a country like India? Third very important aspect which has impacted the economy is our consumption. And why our consumption is great? Because obviously of our massive population and the massive growing population. We have a massive growing population in our country. So in terms of consumption trends, there is US, there's China, and then there's India. So we have superseded other Asian partners in the consumption trends as well. Do you know, guys, that a very important factor is entrepreneurs? The unicorns. Do you know in our country there are more than 100 unicorns which have come up? There is suddenly everywhere a rage of ecosystem startups. Everywhere people are talking about incubation centers, crowdfunding, development funding, everywhere. It has added so much of fluidity and liquidity in our country. I'll tell you one very enormous fact that in the next 5 years, India is poised to attract $475 billion as FDIs, which will change the landscape of our country. It was in news just recently that the World Economic Forum, they have predicted that in India by 2030, 2.9 crore Indians will be in a high income bracket of 32 lakhs. Guys, once you start learning management, once you start learning finance, you should be thorough with numbers. This will change your game. India is actually at the most booming stage of banking and finance industry at the current scenario. With this evolution of banking and fintech together, there came another very interesting term which was called as blockchain. See, if we see fintech as a life, blockchain is the DNA. Because the basis of fintech is blockchain technology. The landscape of fintech is not just related to Paytm, GPay or online payments, P2P vendor payments, cryptocurrencies, but there are lots and lots of them. Now see, what is robo-advisory? A robot will just run it. It will understand your risk appetite. It will understand your asset allocation. It will understand your model portfolio. It will understand your past performance of the funds and also the risk appetite, and it will recommend you something basis your current recommendations. Nvidia has grown humongously to a $1 trillion market cap. It's like a utopian dream. It's a dream number. But how did they achieve that? See, as there is a saying that whenever there is a gold rush, don't mine the gold, sell the shovels. If there is a gold mine happening and if you don't want to be the 110th person to again go for the gold mine and ultimately don't get it. Rather, there are people who are running to get that gold, you sell them shovels. This is how Nvidia capitalized. Right? Nvidia, what they do? They sell chips for graphics. And this is how they have grown humongously. They are one of the biggest fintech partners for most of the banks. We all have a very ancient brain. So whenever we try to do something out of our comfort zone, we don't like it. Our mind doesn't like it, our ancient brain, and it stops our modern brain. So till the time you don't overcome that ancient brain, you will always keep struggling. So whenever you come across fintech and AI, absorb it.